Good morning, my friends. Rich Lohman here with your woohooing thought of the day. Happy Friday! It's been a great week. It's been a fun week. We did a great, or we had a fun webinar yesterday in our webinar series on the 15 Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell, and that was awesome. And it got me thinking about hope, 2021. Goals, goals to growth, willpower, way power, and part of the process of how to achieve your goals is to grow into them. So with that, good morning, Chad Carney. Good morning, Sarah. Excited to see you both on here. And, what we talked about yesterday, and I'm going to briefly touch on it today in in the thought of the day is one of the growth laws is intentionality, or be intentional. So today's thought of the day is intentional, and I'm going to use a John Maxwell quote that is, an unintentional life accepts everything and does nothing. Unintentional accepts everything the way it is and does really nothing, just it comes to you. An intentional life embraces only the things that will add to the mission of significance. That is a powerful statement, you guys. That is like zoned in, cued in on the goals, the intentionality. Good morning, Peter Stippen. Good morning, Kelly Lathwell. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Intentionality. In an unintentional life accepts everything and does nothing. An intentional life embraces only the things that will add to the mission of significance, by John C. Maxwell, my mentor, my friend. So to grow in intentionality, to become more intentional, there's 5 things that you can do. The first thing is to have a purpose worth living for. I know that I've curated and cultivated my purpose statement over time, and I have 5 specific areas of my life and 5 specific statements that are all blended into one. I have a purpose worth living for. Number 2 is know your strengths and weaknesses. I highly, strongly recommend to go on a self-awareness journey. I highly recommend that you get a Maxwellized DISC assessment from me. Not because it's a moneymaker, because it is not. I can't even pay for 2 nickels with the money that I make from the DISC. It's because it's so powerful and so impactful. So definitely, do something to know your strengths and weaknesses. Number 3, to grow in intentionality is prioritize your responsibilities. And I was reading this morning Matthew McConaughey's Greenlight book, an amazing book. But he talked about putting boundaries up and then creating chaos within the boundaries. And I really like that, because that is prioritizing your responsibilities, knowing that you have boundaries, knowing you have responsibilities, being intentional about them, but being free flowing you and just going, out there and wreaking havoc on your responsibilities. I love that mentality. Number 4 is something that I want to know who's going to raise their hand, who's going to hit the like button, and who's going to acknowledge this is something they need to work on to grow in intentionality. Number 4 is learn to say no. If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. You can't be intentional if you say yes and accept everything, as John said. So, who needs to learn to say no? Acknowledge in the comments below. And the 5th thing is commit yourself to long-term achievement. Consistency compounds over time, and just being consistent, living for the day, in the day in, day out, for the long term, is going to pay huge dividends. I think there's a quote out there, and I don't remember who said it, but do the small things with your eye on the big things. The small things will lead you to the big things, but if you just pay attention to the big things, the long-term achievement, without knowing what the small things are, you can't be intentional about it. So that's how I feel about today, is I want to encourage intentionality as part of growth. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 through 17. Ephesians 5, 15 through 17 says, be very careful then how you live, not as an unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. And I think that's powerful, scripture on intentionality. Be careful then how you live, not as unwise, but wise, making the most of every opportunity. What I want you guys to do is make the most out of every opportunity today and all weekend long. Um, I think that that's the best thing that we can challenge. Good morning, Mari. There's Lee raising her hand. Good morning, Melissa. I absolutely loved seeing you guys join here. Might have a surprise come Monday. Might announce it later today, but Monday's Martin Luther King Day. And I've been thinking, would you guys stick on here for a half an hour if I did a half an hour webinar on put your dreams to the test out of respect to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech? If you feel like you would stick on for a half an hour, I've got a put your dreams to the test webinar presentation I could do just here live on Facebook. So comment below and I will see you guys in another thought of the day soon. Have a great Friday.